Hey everyone, and welcome to the Hair Healer Podcast. I'm your host, Colleen the Hair Healer. I invite you to embark with me upon a journey of exchanging energy and creating conversations with my clients as we discuss our journeys through life. So come with me and let's see where today's episode takes us. Hey guys, and welcome back to the Hair Healer Podcast. It's the middle of the week. I hope everyone's having a good week so far, and hopefully this will help make it even better for everyone. This week is really kind of turning out to be my hair week. We'll have weeks like that with hairstylists, with inspiring stories or ways to help the beauty industry, and they'll be popping through here as well as all my other episodes with random people. I don't know about you, but I am feeling exhausted. We're coming up on the full moon in Scorpio, and you know, it illuminates things, right? It illuminates things coming to us. So leading up to it, I get exhausted. I get like that pregnancy exhausted. Trust me, definitely not pregnant. But if you've ever been, you know what that feels like. It's a tired, unlike anything. It's interesting. Like my body and my energy's running through its cycle. And then the day of the full moon, I like perk up. I'm like brand new. I'm alive and I'm feeling really, really good. So again, it's like leading up to it, our body, our minds, everything is sort of drained because the lunar sides of our emotions and instincts reach the full potential of the full moon. So imagine it's coming, you're tired, and then bam, there you are. All right, so this is going to be a pretty good full moon. Okay, it's opposite Mercury though. So what's going to happen? I know it's already happening for me. Confusion between mind and intuition, right? We have our thinking, our conscious thinking, our collective thinking, what we're taught to think, versus our intuition, which is our nature. It's our power. It's what's inside of us. It's our source. It's our connection. And sometimes our logical is like, no. And our intuition is like, listen to me for once, please, for the love of God. Okay, so you might already be feeling that now. And my suggestion, go with the intuition, okay? Start practicing that. I know it's scary. I know for me, the way my intuition got stronger is I just practiced it every time, even though that fear was there. And I'm like, I just want to go with my logical thinking. Nope. Dive right into that intuition. Okay. So practice that if that's coming up for you. Again, it's in Scorpio. So Scorpio is a sign that brings light to our darkness. Okay. We need to expose our darkness to heal, to grow, to help someone else, whatever it is. Especially if that darkness is building a deep hole or void inside of you. Okay. So, and also you might be picking up a little bit of extra sensitive energy. I guess you might be more sensitive right now to picking up on others' energy, particularly if it's a kind of energy that triggers something inside of you. You just be like, okay, wait, whoa, what's that vibe? What's this? Whatever. So just watch yourself. Be okay. Be gentle. The full moon, a lot of times, again, I know for me, it makes everyone kind of crazy. It gets me a little bit rowdy because it's illuminating things we need to let go of. So right now, again, a lot of us aren't working. So what can we do? We can work on our creative projects. Write down when the full moon comes, you want to let go. So what is holding you back from creating your creative endeavors? Okay. Is it fear? Is it what people think of you? Most of the time it boils down to fear, if we're being honest with ourselves. But look at that and write that down. Let go of those things. What's holding you back from living your best life, whether your love life, your career, your friendship, whatever. What is holding you back right now from stopping you from creating the best life you can? Write that down. Okay, we got the full moon. It's this Friday, the 7th. I think that's whatever the 7th is. I think it's Friday. Write all this stuff down. Get with yourself. Imagine yourself breaking it, right? After you write it down, go outside, get a quiet moment, and imagine yourself letting each thing go. Some people imagine like a cord, cutting, whatever. There, if you want to, DM me and I can give you some ideas. But imagine yourself letting it go and then light that shit on fire. Burn it, let it go, imagine it poof, okay? You're letting things go, and then it's a new day the next day, okay? Big full moon Scorpio vibes. Let's let things go. And again, if you're feeling extra sensitive, more than normal because of the collective craziness right now, be gentle with yourself. It's okay. All right. Let's jump into this episode with Meg, the Curly Hair Alchemist. I found her on Instagram a few months ago and we became friends. And of course, she had Alchemist in her name. So I said, oh, who's this? Let me check her out. And she is amazing. I'm super, super excited about this episode. She's located in New York, and we'll get into all the stuff she does. She's a curly hair expertise, and she has beautiful curly hair herself. But on this episode, it's much more than just hair. I mean, we talk about, again, what is the hair world going to be like when we all return to the salon, or how are we going to, I don't know, what's it going to look like, but also what is she doing right now in her spare time to like build all these other projects, okay, and building all these other groups. So she has a lot of good ideas with that. And also her spiritual path. How did she get on the spiritual path? What is her life story? She's got an awesome life story. She's got an awesome vibe. I'm super excited. Again, if you feel like that you have a message that you want to bring to the Hair Healer Podcast, feel free to reach out to me, the Hair Healer Podcast at yahoo.com. And also on Instagram at the Hair Healer 1111. Make sure you rate, review, subscribe, whatever you're listening to this, and also send it to a friend. All right, let's jump into this episode. I hope everyone has a fabulous day. Love you guys, and here we go. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Hair Healer Podcast Quarantine Series. I am with my new friend from Instagram, Meg, the Curly Hair Alchemist. Did I say that right?
You did. Perfect.
And she is right outside New York City. And before I figured we'd jump right in, I know I talk a lot on here. I usually bring my guests on and we end up talking for a while. And I'm like, wait, hold that. Let's jump right into that. I want to talk about it. It's good. And we were talking about the reopening of the salon because right now it's 4/20 today. Holla. And so everyone, hairstylists are like dying to open back up and just jump back into like some sense of normalcy. And, you know, what it's about. And you were telling me your thoughts on it. And I said, stop right there. I want to hear it. So let's jump back into that conversation.
Well, I mean, what's today? Monday?
Yeah.
Okay. So certain states are now allowing salons to reopen. And I don't know how I feel about it. And I think that that's where I'm at, you know, and I think it's okay to be like that for me right now, because, you know, we just went through, you know, we were forced to close, and now what's the parameters of reopening, and what does that mean as like stylists, right? Like, what are we allowed to do? What do we want to do? How do we want to go back into the salon with just having 4 or 5 weeks off? How do we want to go back in now that we've had this moment to reset everything?
How do you want to go back in? Have you been able to think like, how has it changed you? How were you prior to behind the chair in general? I cannot remember. Do you own the salon? Or are you a stylist there?
Yeah. So I own my boutique.
Okay, cool.
It's a pretty like decently small size,
Perfect.
Brick and mortar. And, I'm very lucky in that sense. However, you know, before this happened, I was always like 5 steps behind, like just trying to keep up with everything that I was doing on my own. You know, when you wear 17 different hats as an entrepreneur, you're just making sure that you're giving the best customer service, because every other day behind the scenes, you're stressed out. You're becoming antisocial. You're forgetting to call people back. Like it's a really hard balance to have between life and entrepreneurship. And that's where I was. I think I was getting burnt out, to be honest. And then this happened, but then I didn't know any other way to be. Right. So I was like, wait, what do you mean they shut me down? And now I don't know what to do. Like, I felt guilty sleeping in.
Yeah. How was that first couple weeks to like how you are now? Now we're what, like 5 weeks into it probably?
Right. And I'm like so stoked to like not have to be in the same routine.
I know.
Like, I feel like we just left being in school all year and now we have like summer camp, you know,
yes.
but it's all virtual.
It's all virtual summer camp.
You know, and I've connected with so many hairstylists, so many friends and family, so many people that you thought maybe a few months ago, I thought they were fake. I'm like, these are fake ass people in my life, but really they were just as busy as me.
We've become a society so busy. Sometimes I look back at my responses to people and I'm like, oh my God, Colleen, that sounds so like surfaced. And so, but it's like almost like, it's like automatic like that.
Right. Just get the response. Like you don't even have the personalization anymore. You're like, this person DM'd you, 3 people emailed you, and like 17 people text you. And all you're thinking is, how do I get these people to stop texting me and get them in my email and get them to actually read my newsletters and all this other stuff?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just So what this quarantine has done for me, it's actually brought my business much more digital.
Interesting. In what way?
Well, I have an online course called Curls Hold Magic Blueprint.
Okay, so what's that? She has fabulous curls. You'll get to check them out.
I'm a niche stylist. I only work with curly hair.
Okay. Do you color too, or do you just cut?
I only cut.
Okay.
And it's basically a online guide to learning what your hair needs as a wash and go.
Love that.
So basically, yes, you can Google anything in the planet and get an answer, but you can't Google a customized approach. So that's what my course offers. I have around 200 members so far, and I launched it back last November in 19, and it was a slow launch. It was a slow everything. I didn't even know how to describe what the hell I just made. And what hairstylists are now coming out with more digital options.
Yeah.
But, you pray that it makes sense because you just made this video and you're jumping to the salon and then you're trying to get dinner. And so long story short, when quarantine happened, I was like, okay, well, let's just promo the course. And I just thought about how much more of a vast reach I have now because now everybody's online.
Everyone's online. Now, is the course for hairstylists? Is it for everyone? Is it for the clients?
So it's mostly for everyone. I feel like it's really fed the consumer option more than the professional. I think the professionals who have invested in my program are more or less like, they just want to learn. They want to see if I'm doing the same thing they're doing, or how did I word this, or how did I structure my course, because they want to make a course. So I'm all about, investing in programs that you want to do in your future, that you have to kind of do the legwork and get the homework and kind of do the research of who's doing what's their style, what was missing out of their thing. And I really respect people, who purchase other people's items to kind of see, like, what are they making? How did they do this? Because, most hairstylists, we're visual artists.
Yes.
So we need to see how something was, mechanically put together, as opposed to, oh, maybe I'll start here and maybe I'll start there, because it's not like a quilt, you can't just like get all these squares and then stitch them together. You kind of have to have this very intricate system to an online course, and it still represents your brand.
Wow. So your brand is known, like, what is the Curly Hair Alchemist? Like, is that what your program's called? Is that where
so basically, I truly believe, like, with everything that I've gone through in my own spiritual personal life,
which we're going to get into.
Like, at the end of the day, if we were really just natural, we wouldn't be using hair care products, right? But we need amino acids, we need certain moisturizers, we need things to replenish the hair because we don't have nerve endings and it's a fiber.
Yeah.
So how do we balance the keratin bonds and the hydrogen bonds? And how do we, balance that with an atmosphere that we don't have control over? So, the modern curly girl is taking 20-year-old information that is outdated because now the products are surpassing the information that was made 20 years ago.
Wow.
So we're like now entering into this new paradigm of curly hair individuals who are like, listen, I've watched every YouTuber, I've done every product, I've Googled all my thoughts, but I still have this problem. And so what I've really come to the terms with is that the problem really is that the modern day curly girl actually doesn't really know her hair.
Yeah.
Because it's a hairstylist who's going to say, hey, your texture is medium coarse, your density's this, your hair's doing this, your scalp's doing this. And an influencer can't do that because they don't physically touch people on a daily.
Yeah.
So, buying an online tutorial program that also comes with a private Facebook group where everybody's talking and mingling and creating this sisterhood is actually creating a really beautiful mindset and mind, body, spirit experience.
Now, so with your program, you have the Facebook group also. So that's part of it. So
That's where the magic is.
I love it. So you join the group, and then the Facebook group is really where the magic, you guys just share kind of your natural, what do you share in that group?
So the blueprint really comes with like, you identify your hair's personality and you customize what you think your approach is. So you're always in power. Where you start to doubt yourself and you want to show your results, or you want to beta test, or you want to get new data from other people. That's what the Facebook group is about. And what I love about my brand and like my teaching is I'm a visual teacher. So all of my girls, almost all of my girls, there's some shy ones in there that are in the Facebook group. They're doing videos, they're showing their routines, they're, doing lives. They're really interactive, and they're really not so stuck on these old school routines that we're supposed to like stick by. Yes. And so they're kind of like these rule breakers, and they're just collecting data. They're just seeing what works and what doesn't. And that space, I think that Facebook group really gives them the permission to be like, hey, I'm going to try this on this side. I'm going to try this on this side. I'm just going to see how my hair dries with two completely different routines. And it's like a light bulb goes off in their head. It's just so empowering and enriching in that group. It's my favorite. I go in there and I'm just so proud of them.
Aww.
It's so nice.
And it's true, because you really are teaching them power, and there is so much power in hair, as we know. And it's such, we hold energy and we hold our beauty and stuff. And so when you teach them how to like make it look good and feel good and be their own hair, that's super empowering, especially at a time right now.
Definitely. That confidence doesn't have to only be when someone physically touches your hair. And, I can't be everywhere, right? So as stylists, we want to do it all. We want to do like a pop-up shop. We want,
everything.
We want to freaking go. We're like, let's go to Alaska and like work 6 days in the salon and like not think about jet lag whatsoever.
Hairstyles are the craziest. They really are.
Right. And then we'll be like, oh, well, we'll get like a waiting list, and then we'll like package it somehow and it'll pay for the trip and I can still travel. But really, like, it doesn't work like that.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
And so at least if I can be virtual, then if I do meet a client in my membership who's like, I live in France and I'm not really happy with my stylist, but I'm going to try a new girl. Can you help me figure out the verbalization of what I want in my consultation? I'm like saving these women time and frustration with actually connecting a hairstylist verbalization with a consumer verbalization, and they're going into the service and they're being able to communicate the way that they really feel they need to. And they're getting the results that they want because I'm connecting the client to the hairstylist, and especially to the curly hair client.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Because I think there's a lot of stylists out there that are super talented, but if you cannot communicate and give a bomb consultation, you're done.
You have to learn what questions to ask so they can give you the answers they're not going to give you.
Correct.
If that makes sense. Yeah.
So, and what if a client was 2 steps ahead of a stylist without being a control freak?
Yes.
What if they were just on the same page? I mean, us stylists would just be like, oh my God, this is my favorite client ever.
Ever.
Because you're not pulling teeth. You're not like dealing with passive aggressiveness.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Or just that unsure energy of like which way to go.
Right. And then all of a sudden they stop you in the middle of the haircut and they're like, wait, did we think about this? And you're like, wait, what? Like, what just happened to our consultation?
I know. I actually had this curly hair. Okay. And I'm thinking I should just join your group too, just so I could learn, because I actually, over the last couple of years, have gained a ton of curly haired clients, and there's just so much I need to learn about because I have very straight hair and I never was really trained in it. But I can do a basic curly haircut, and so as a high school girl, and I remember she was like, cut it up to the shoulders, and I was like, okay, but your hair's curly, you know what I mean? We did it, and it still came to here, and right the one side, she goes, never mind, it's too short. I changed my mind. I was like, holy shit, what? What? Like that gives me, when people want their hair cut, especially curly, I'm like short, even though I know to leave it longer, I get super freaked out from that moment I had with her.
Oh my gosh. I mean, the amount of, let's look at our beauty industry, right? I mean, the way that we learn to do hair in hairdressing school from the jump is how to smooth it out. We can give an amazing blowout. We can do
10,000.
a roller set. We can do flat irons, curling irons, thermal styling, press and sets, wraps, whatever. We can do it all.
Yes.
But you silk press, especially in the South, silk presses are so popular. But you get a curly hair girl and you wet that hair down and you cut it with maximum tension.
Yeah.
That elasticity is going to show you. But the thing is that these curly girls are like, well, I love what I look like when I get my hair blown out, but I don't do that at home. So it's kind of like they're looking for a relationship where they can actually get married to their stylist, as opposed to it's just like 1 or 2 dates when it's something that's happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think the curly girl is definitely a different client who needs different approaches. You need to be a little bit more like, softer with your approach and just kind of showing pictures and kind of really going through it, which is why it's so important to cut the hair dry. And because it's a silhouette.
Yeah.
Curly hair is just basically like everybody cuts so different too. There's so many different ways to cut it.
Yeah.
But overall, there's your fundamentals and then there's the free form, which is what makes your signature really pop in there. So when you get that client who's like, holy crap, I didn't know it was going to be that short. That's what's so important in my membership is I can say,
they can
do
know.
You really think you want your hair to your collarbone? Let's just take a minute and bring it up there and let's live there for a little bit. And then they look at it and it's like their imagination and the actual length that they're looking at, there's a huge disconnect.
Yes.
So you realize that clients actually don't know measurements.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Half hairstylists don't know measurements either.
You're like, what's an inch? And they're like, I want to cut 2 inches off. And you're like, girl, that's like almost 4.5 inches.
I know.
No. And they're like, no.
Now, did you always wear your hair curly? Like, are you a previous? Because I know a lot of clients, they either like did in high school, like I hate my curly hair and I want to straighten it. And finally they fell in love with it. Or you just were always straight curly hair because you have amazing curly hair. I love curly hair.
Thank you so much. No, my hair didn't give me a choice.
Didn't. So no,
my hair was like, this is non-negotiable. My mom is, she's Portuguese and West African.
Oh, wow.
And my dad is Irish.
Wow.
And so my hair actually was much, much curlier than what you see it as today. And so it didn't matter what I did with it. And I always had only Black women or Brazilian women blow out my hair.
Okay.
Because,
why?
For whatever reason, stylists that were lighter skin tone, whatever nationality they are, but just lighter skin tone in general, they just could not blow out my hair.
Interesting.
So I used to always go to
smooth. Could they not get it smooth enough?
My Caribbeans, huh?
I love it. Could they not get it smooth enough?
They couldn't do jack with my hair. They would be like, oh yeah, because they'd see my skin complexion. But then they'd be like, but what's your nationality? Because I can't like get this straight or smooth enough past your first bottom section. So I don't know what's going on. And it's really interesting, like the stigma around hair and like culture and nationalities and stuff. Because I'm just thinking, why do I have to be mixed with anything just to have this texture?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just think that that's just the way we've been raised. Like if you're curly, you must have Black in you. You know what I mean? And that's not necessarily the case.
Not at all. I would say, a lot of my clients are Jewish. I would say a good 70% of them. And their hair is like, and that's when I started, like I went from one salon to this last salon where I've been for 5 years. And that's where all of a sudden, like 80% of my client, and all of a sudden I have all this curly hair, this like, and some of them are annoying and want it down. It's down the young girls, it's down their hips. They want it blown out straight. But like learning that. Now, do you think that there's a difference in personality between curly haired and straight haired people? Because you started to kind of talk about the personality part a little bit into it. And I wanted to ask that back there.
I feel like there's definitely a difference in personality in the sense of how people are approached differently with curly hair versus with straight. Because let's look at the like Eastern European beauty standards, right? Like straight hair, smooth, gorgeous. I mean, basically every actress you see has a blowout. Anyone who's going to be on nighttime television has a blowout, or like, you know, so everybody's looking the same. It's very commercialized.
Yes, hate
but
the
when you start, you know, working with your natural curls, there's this resistance in the corporate world. Maybe not so much in the theater world. But definitely when you start getting into Hollywood and stuff, it's still very commercialized because it's supposed to be a specific look. And I think everything has a trend, right? So like early 2000s, it was the flat iron. It was like Britney Spears. It was like Lil' Kim, like straight.
Or the curly hair with the flat iron bang.
Exactly. That's a disaster. That should just be fired from any sort of historical picture. Do I think that they have a different personality? I think they have a different approach to beauty and life, and are looked at very differently, 100%.
Wow, that's an interesting concept because, as you know, I like to tie in soul and psychology and hair. And let's talk about your spiritual path, right? The Curly Hair Alchemist. Where did that begin? Did you have a hard time and then emerge from darkness, or did you just always sort of have this kind of drive for people in like a deeper way and in a deeper meaning and liking deeper things?
I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Empire Records.
Yes, remind me though. Remind me.
So it's basically a movie about where it's a record store and it's all these teenagers and they all have specific personalities, and the manager's name is Joe. And it's based off of one day in the record store. And there's all these chain of events. And there's this one character named Lucas. And he winds up the night before screwing over the entire record store because he took a $9,000 deposit that he was just supposed to take to the bank for Joe. And he winds up going to Atlantic City and gambling it all away.
Oh, shit.
So that's one that's like, you know, criminal. One. And then two, like he still goes to work and winds up dealing with all of these issues that are at hand. And some of the characters are like, one of them is about to lose their virginity to this famous musician that's showing up for a day of signing his albums.
Oh my God.
Another one is just like, she's shaving her head in the bathroom because she's having a mental breakdown. Like, it's a really good movie of like coming to age and really just like really loving life for what it is in all of its crazy glory. But Lucas, because he's screwed up so much, he's having this like enlightening experience. So everything he's saying is like the Chinese guy from the Karate Kid. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so he's basically like inspiring everybody, even though he's
everyone around him
being destroyed. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like me. So
I like you. You just went to this whole thing. You probably like, and that's me. It's kind of me.
I'm Lucas.
I love it.
I think for me, it was a physical thing. So I've done India, I've done Thailand, I've done Costa Rica. You know,
now you've done those like spiritual retreats.
I've done those like retreats. You know what I mean? Where I felt like I had to get out of daily life to go do a retreat, but really, like what it really was just more of like a posh lifestyle that allowed me to get out of my daily so I can absorb something other than just making money and being customer service for my clients. And I think it really helped me. Traveling really opened my senses to something bigger, and it brought home culture. And I realized every time I came back, I was a different version of myself that was trying to find myself within that momentum of that, right? And then one day, I go to the doctor and they do a ultrasound of my uterus, and they're basically like, your uterus is about the size of a 4-month pregnancy, and you have overgrowths of benign tumor fibroids.
Oh my God.
And we should really do surgery because, you know, I was basically hemorrhaging, and I had to get a blood transfusion that week.
How old were you?
Was so low.
Wow. How old were you at the time?
I was 31.
Wow. That's
32.
scary. That's scary. It's young.
And I had just quit my salon that I was working at for 5 years.
It always comes at one whole thing.
It all comes at once. And I was dating this guy at the time who was like ultra spiritual. And and he's just like, you shouldn't have the surgery. You should heal yourself with organic food and herbs. And I'm like, bro, I'm dying. Like, we're not.
Eat the organic food and herbs after you get it all removed.
Right. I'm like, that's part of the recovery.
Yes.
So I think that type of stopping listening to everybody else and having a traumatic physical experience, I needed that physical pain to wake me up to something that was bigger.
Wow.
And then it opened me up to trusting my decisions, trusting the momentum, which is slower than I want it to be.
Yeah.
And I quit smoking like pounds of chronic a week. I quit.
Did you quit totally altogether or just not as much?
I quit everything altogether.
Good for you. When did you do that?
I did that when I turned 33.
Okay.
And 33 was that big pivotal year for me where everything just like reality just hit. Like your 20s, the way you saw life, it no longer exists.
Isn't that the truth?
It's gone.
Yeah.
And now you're in business for yourself. And now this is life.
Wow.
Now life is really facing you. So how are you going to handle it? And I'm not going to lie, I have never really been a graceful person.
Me.
But
I love it.
But at the end of the day, I think what it's really taught me is humility and to really humble myself. And yes, I've done yoga for years. I do believe in breath work. I do believe in, finding that place within yourself, whatever you want to call it, but that place where you can get so silent, whatever it means for you to get that silent within yourself, whether it's you got to leave the country, you got to turn off your cell phone, you have to go into the woods and get lost without a map. You got to do the things that people think you're crazy for, or you got to do the things that people think that they could never do.
Yes.
Not to prove yourself to them, but to have a story for yourself. So when you're 85 years old, or even screw it, who knows how long you're going to live? Because I truly believe like when you fulfill your purpose, I do feel like you want to do more, but you're going to be at peace if you pass away at any age.
Yeah.
And I feel like your days should really have something that's connecting you to a bigger side of yourself that just really speaks into your soul.
Wow.
And you'll know what that is. And it doesn't have to be pretty, and it doesn't have to be even called spiritual. It's just whatever it is to you. And that's your definition. And that's what I think is important is you don't have to have you don't have to be in a box.
No, you don't. Now, has your spirituality, your daily like vibe, your daily mindset, has it, I mean, obviously it's gotten a lot more since we've had this downtime, but has it changed? Have you explored something new inside of you? Is it different? Has it changed any way? Have you been able to do something again that you haven't in a while for yourself during this time?
Well, it's interesting. I've actually been realizing that I need a lot more alone time than I realized. Wow. I think I was thinking that I needed to be more extroverted and I need to be more connected to my friends and my family, which I do need to be more present with them when I'm with them. I do need
when you're with
to make
them.
more time for people.
Yeah.
But I've never made time for myself.
Wow. That's what I'm finding too during this time, actually.
Like, is it just me or is this quarantine being like, hey, here's alone time? And it's like, it's rough.
It's rough. And it's like, it's gone in shifts for me. It's some days I feel like I'm at the top of my game and I'm this like, and it's going to be amazing. And all of our dreams are going to come true. And then the other days I'm like, holy shit, I can't get out of bed. This is going to be fucking horrible. And like, or I'm like looking at my life, like, what did I do? But what I like to remind is like, you can come out of this and be anyone who you want. You can leave anything. You can leave that husband. You can leave that boyfriend. You can leave that, or you can join that person and we can be anyone from now on out. You can start that new business, whatever it is. Just be reborn, but it is hard. And as you know, when you're doing that inner dark shadow work, when we're left with nothing but ourselves, that can be hard to push through.
Yeah. Because it feels like the molecular weight of it can feel heavy.
Yeah.
You know, like your body physically feels heavy. You know, your fucking nose hurts. Yeah. Like just like your eyelashes.
Third eye.
You're like, what is happening to me? And you look in the mirror and you're like, as long as no matter what's happening, I've made a vow to myself, no matter what I'm thinking or feeling, I look in the mirror and I look in my eyes and I just say, as long as you know that you're in there.
Wow.
As long as whatever, I don't care how happy you are, because it's a lighter feeling when you're happy, right? And you've achieved those things, you mark those things off your list, you feel good. But then there's those days where you're like, am I having a mental breakdown, or did I not sleep good? Did I not drink enough water yesterday? Like, what's the problem?
Yes.
As long as I can look in the mirror and say, no matter what happens today, if I can't get out of this, or if this is a longer road today than it was yesterday, whatever it is, I'm in there.
Wow.
And I have to say that to myself, because it's so easy to get lost in those stories and those limiting belief systems that come up when you think you've healed all of that.
Comes out of nowhere.
It's like, hey girl, I was just taking a break.
Taking a little nap.
Yeah, I was in my own quarantine.
My own quarantine. That's hilarious.
Right? And then she's like, but I'm super awake.
I'm super awake now, baby. Let's go. Let's go see what we can fuck up.
Yeah, I just pray for like the dear souls that are like going to get the phone call on the other side of that receiver. You're like, hi, do you have 10 minutes? Because I'm dying. And I don't know if I want to talk to you right now. That's actually been saving my relationships. I actually ask permission.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. I'll say, hey, I'm having a tough day. Do you have 10 minutes? Can I just like dump this shit? And then if it depends, like if they're having a rough day, they'll be like, well, what is it about actually?
Yes. I think that's a great boundary we're bringing into 2020 with friendships, relationships, whatever. Like, it's okay to like, ask first. Like, hey, I have a lot of stuff I need to say to you. Like, can I say it today or tomorrow? And it's okay to say no, wait till tomorrow, or yes, today.
Yes. Yes. And you know what? Sometimes their no is such a great navigation for you to be like, you know what? Maybe I don't need to be on the phone with them. Maybe I need to go cook myself a meal. Maybe I need to do like today I cleaned my kitchen and it's like the 1,500th time I've done it, because I've been cooking so much that I'm like, oh my God, like if I ever win the Powerball, I'm getting a fucking personal chef. Yeah. I am not doing this. Like,
I hate cooking. I love to eat, but I hate the actual like making of it and the prepping and the cleaning and all of it.
I need inspiration. Like, I just feel like flavor, like I need someone, even if they come in like once a month and they're like, hey, this month's theme is going to be this specific herb and spice, and I'm going to show you how to make this dish, but now you're on your own. I would love that.
You'd be good with that. Just give you the instruction.
Yeah, because I'll be inspired, you know?
You got to be inspired. Now, what do you think, what is the future of the beauty industry right now? What do you think? You think we're going to jump right into it, I think, in some ways? Or do you think we're going to do you think these more private salons and suites are going to be much more popular now? People are going to be more conscious?
That's a really good question. Well, what's interesting is, you know, I understand the government has declared that we're not an essential service, but let me just say this lightly, because I think a lot of people are triggered right now. And I think a lot of people are going through panic. So I don't want to come out and blatantly say hairdressers are essential. But what I want to say is, okay, are we like doctors and nurses? Hell no.
No.
But do we see, because we're behind the chair, we see the transformation of somebody who walks into our space and they are just like, oh my God, I've been waiting like 6 weeks to get here.
Yes.
And they just surrender, and they just throw down the armor that they carry in society at their work, playing the role. being the mother, being the wife, being the caregiver, being anything that client is holding on. They're like, I don't have to be any of that right now.
Yeah.
And I get to get my hair done because I'm going to feel physically better after this. Now, do I find that to be essential to being a human act of kindness and perpetuating the being touched by another person outside of your circle? Listen, we have no skin in the game. You want to tell us your problems with your man? Tell us, honey.
Yes.
Like, we got you.
Yes.
But like, we don't take you home with us. No. You know what I mean? So like, we don't have to save you from your life. We're just like literally somebody who's going to listen to you.
Yeah.
There are people in this world right now that their hairdresser or their barber or their nail tech are the only persons who touch them because they've been so hurt by people in the world.
I always say that. Yeah.
So are we saving the planet right now to Rona? No.
To Rona.
No, absolutely not. In fact, we are very susceptible to getting it because of how much touch we have with our clients. So how do I see the future? I think I can see the future from Curly Hair Alchemist perspective that it's going digital.
Wow.
Because what has to happen is this is not going to be the last pandemic. And I'm sorry if that triggers people, but this is history repeats
and
itself.
We might have to be prepared for the next like 2 years to keep going back into quarantine, like every couple months.
Right. And so do I think one-on-one, like sweet interaction, boutique salon, stuff like that? Do I think they're amazing? I think that clients are starving for that. Yes. Because even before the pandemic, even before Rona,
they want attention.
I think people are tired of the loudness and the busyness of a big salon.
Yeah.
I think they're tired of 7 different people touching their hair.
Yeah.
And I think they're tired of tipping out 7 people because they do hold a guilt that they have to tip everybody evenly, and they feel terrible by the time it trickles down to the person who did their hair the longest. They get the $2.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, so I think there's a lot of psychology that's going to be reprogrammed in our industry. And I think we're going to earn a new form of respect.
We are. And just like you said, people miss us as essential. And not only are they missing the, like, I want to look good, it's that I want to feel good, or that we're the only ones that are really listening to them. So many people aren't being heard. So they come to us, and that's where our hair healing, right? Our hair alchemy and plays in, you know? And I think you're 100% right with that. Now, is it just you at your boutique?
It's just me. Okay. Yeah. I have no interest in having employees.
No assistant or anything?
No, I don't have an assistant.
So you don't do any color whatsoever?
No.
So it makes it a little easier without an assistant.
It does, because I was doing colors and cuts, and I was like, someone come save me. Because, you know, you get that one head of hair that has like 17 layers of silicone buildup, and she wants to be blonde. And I'm just like...
oh. Now, what are your dreams? What do you see right now, the Curly Hair Alchemist? Like, I know my hair healer dreams. What are your Curly Hair Alchemist dreams?
You know, I feel like some of the dreams that I have are still in the dark, and I'm watering them, and like they need to stay in their own little closets, and because they're still being developed in their little pods. And I wish I could tell the world all of my dreams, but it wouldn't be right to their growth and their manifestation 100%. If I lake out that energy.
Love it.
But I think right now for the next year, I can definitely foresee that I am going to be splitting my business with my digital self and my physical self, because I think what's going to be really important is, while the world as we know it is gone and we're coming into this new world, how can I still bring the human act of kindness, the knowledge and the hands-on, but how can I do it in a way that's going to keep everyone, including myself, safe And how can I do it where I stop forgetting about putting myself at the forefront as well? As hairstylists, I see it time in and time out. We are definitely the backbone to a nation. I feel like we're kind of still the prohibition, speakeasy, underground.
I love it kind of being called that. That is, yes.
I feel like we're still kind of like the secrets to the magic of this world, and we should be, because we're vast. And so we're uncontainable. You know, if the government was like, you're shutting down indefinitely and you're never going back to the salon, you think we're not going to dig a hole somewhere? And, like, put a mirror?
Yes.
And like go off the grid and be like, yo, invite only. Like, listen for the beats. You know what I mean? Like it's an underground rave.
Yes,
you know?
please.
Like,
yes.
and we're just all gonna be like the misfits, like the circus clowns and the freaks.
Yes,
we're gonna be that. And it's just, and I understand. That's why I think we're overlooked on how important we are, because we've been able to keep our individuality and bring any practice that we want into our chair.
Yes.
You know, if you want to go and get rainbow hair, you know who to go see. If you want to go and have sage burnt before you do your consult, you know who to go see.
Yeah.
If you want like
the perfect curly hair.
If you can have any paradigm you want with any hairstylist in this world. You can have anything you want. It's like a video game.
Wow. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, that's how versatile we are. There is no container to us.
Yes.
So, you know, if you want to stop doing all haircuts and you just want to do hair color and you only want to do a specific hair color for the rest of your life, you can.
Wow.
Because thanks to social media, thanks to Zoom calls, thanks to group panel speakings, thanks to having cameras and ring lights and, you know, live streaming and replays and websites and memberships to make that all happen, virtual assistants, videographers, like we can make anything happen. Anything.
Well, you know, it's interesting, especially moving forward in the beauty world. Today's episode that dropped of the Hair Healer podcast is a good friend who is a producer in New York City and an editor for TV. And we talked about this on the episode is like, what is the future of media? Because if this goes the way I want it to go in all my dreams, I know I put my hard work in. I'm not going to go just like sell it to Fox to join. Like we're in a world where I can be like, oh, I'm going to hire my own person here and my own person here. And he said, absolutely. Now because of media and everything we're getting, like we can be our own producers, editors, everything. And it's going to be interesting to see how that develops, or even just looking at like these groups of like behind the chair, right? Let's say that's one we know. Prior to that, that would be where you would have to go, and they would have their same like 10 people they would always highlight, and that's it. That's who would make the difference. But now we have just as good as equipment. We can easily get just as popular. And like, so now there's the Curly Hair Alchemist, and then there's the Hair Healer. Like, so is it going to be now just with doing hair, like more of the smaller and not so much the big corporations anymore?
Yeah, it's gonna be much more independent. And, you know, my question for anyone who's listening is, how are you now going to make passive income?
Yes. Yes.
Because as stylists, we've always had to make money with either being platform artists or being behind the chair in a studio or a salon or doing pop-up shops.
That's it.
Now it's like you can hit record and sell your tutorial.
Yeah.
You know, but here's the thing too, is that now that we're not in the salon being as jammed up with scheduling clients, all that other stuff, now the influencers, it's going to be interesting to see how the influencers are just kind of just going to be in their own little thing. And stylists, I feel like, are about to just blow up because our followers have been starving and waiting for stylists to come out to fill in that gap that the influencer has been trying to fill in.
Yes.
Like, I don't have shade on influencers. I think they're beautiful, beautiful people, but they're just not my tribe.
Same. Same.
I don't vibe with an influencer because she doesn't have the same pain that I do.
That's it. I like the more, like you just said, the more authentic, the real, the people who just keep that whatever they're doing, whatever path they're trying to influence, it's very real. Whatever it is, right. that's what I like, you know?
Right. And so now I think we're going to be able to see more of the stylist lifestyle. And I think my advice, and, no one's asking me, but I'm going to give it.
Give it.
Is, show people who you are.
Yes.
Besides hair.
Yes.
Like, let go of the perfection. Let go of just showing only certain environments. Like, bring people into your world.
Yes. That's
what's going to keep us human.
100%. And that's what I started doing a couple of years ago. And I actually got I remember more than I want to say 7 different hairstylist bosses. It was like, you need to separate your hair world from your astrology, spirituality, and your personal life. And I said, no, I don't have time for that. I was like, I have ADD. You think, no, I said, people are either going to follow me or they're not, but I'm not doing 2 different pages. And look, now everyone all of a sudden I see is all of a sudden hair, or not just hair, other influencers are like, oh, what about my personal life do you guys want to see? All of a sudden, because people get bored. They want to connect with you. They want to, if they want to watch what you're doing and buy into what you're selling, they want to be able to connect with you on a personal level. Like you said, they want to be able to know that you can share the same pain as me and vice versa, or whatever it is, or you felt any kind of pain.
They want to know what you get drunk off of. Yeah. They want to see you wasted.
Yeah.
They do.
They do.
I tried to do a live the other night and I got too drunk. And I was like, I'm tired. I'm drunk. I'm grumpy drunk. I don't want to.
You're grumpy drunk. What were you drinking?
And I told everybody too. I was like, I'm not doing a live tonight, guys. I'm grumpy drunk and I'm tired.
I'm grumpy.
And everybody was like, oh my God, I got drunk. I got grumpy drunk the other night. And I'm like, yeah, I know.
Now we're getting to the end of the podcast, okay? And I ask everyone, and I don't like to tell people ahead of time because they only know unless you listen to the whole way, just because it gives you that kind of first response. So I ask these 3 questions at the end of every episode, okay?
Okay, let's do it.
And with you, we didn't talk about your childhood too much. Sometimes we get into it, sometimes we didn't. But I like to ask the first thing, if you could go back to little Meg, right? Did you grow up in New York? Around New York too?
In Connecticut. I grew up in a greenhouse on the top of the hill of Wigwam Lane.
I love it. So if you go back to that greenhouse in Connecticut, what would you say to Meg at some sort of childhood point that maybe that you needed to be talked to?
I would tell. Oh man, I would tell. Well, back then, I wasn't Meg. I was Megan. So I would tell little Megan.
It's my sister's name.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, we're the best. Don't quiet yourself. Don't make yourself smaller to make other people comfortable, because you're going to always make people uncomfortable because you're magnetic.
Wow.
I think I would say that to her. I would tell her to be and I'm going to hurt people. I would tell her, you're going to hurt people because you need to be who you are. So just do you and just trust it.
You know what? That last one, because I really related to that just gave me chills. You just gave me chills.
It's true. You're gonna hurt people.
So you are, but it's about being who you want to be. What is the best piece of advice anyone's ever given you?
I'd have to think about that one. Nothing comes to mind very quickly, only because I've had a lot of in-depth experiences. But I will say, not that somebody gave me the advice, but I read a quote and it was by Jewel.
Love Jewel.
And I used it in my senior yearbook quote, and it said, I wish I could see the world from another angle.
Wow.
And I think that was advice for me to see life outside of what I think I know. That's what's kept me so open.
Wow. I love that. I can't wait when I get this back, and I'm going to write that down so I can remember that forever. I love that. So what is the last piece of advice that you want to leave with our listening audience? What do you want to tell whoever's listening?
Now is the time to do the things that scare you the most, because they're going to give you the most joy.
Wow. They will get out of that fear, because those things will bring you joy. They
really will. And give it a due date, but don't give the joy a due date. It'll come when it comes.
Wow.
But real good things take hard work. Trust your gut. And when you trust yourself, let go of who you think you're supposed to be.
Wow.
Just, just do it. And you might break your own heart because you might have to be really honest with yourself. But oh my gosh, does it feel so liberating when you get out of that and you look back and you're just thinking, oh my goodness, I'm so happy I'm not in the same place I was. Like, I can't imagine. Your life is going to be so stale. Like,
Isn't
you're going to be a
true?
stale ass cracker. You're just going to, like, those crackers where you just keep putting like, peanut butter on it and you're like, this just is still so damn dry. Like, your taste buds aren't even going to like the same food anymore because you're like metaphysically going to be so transformed. So,
you are such a boss babe, Meg. I love it. I love it. And just the way you go about life, and I can already tell we think about things the same way. And just sort of tear it about and kind of go into it inwardly to look. And so tell everyone where they can find you. Tell again your program, your Instagram, your email, whatever it is. How can they find you, Meg?
So my name is Meg Conkling. Don't even bother trying to spell my last name. It's a pain in the ass. You can find me on Instagram. It's the easiest at Curly Hair Alchemist. The link in my bio will bring you to everything that I offer, from baby offers to my online course to virtual consultations to eventually how to book an appointment with me in person in due time. And I can't wait to connect with anybody that resonates with me and reach out.
I love it. I'm sure you're going to have a lot of people who resonate and reach out to you. And if anyone's listening, you can find her. I am friends with her on Instagram, so you can find her through me as well. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into this amazing episode of the Quarantine Series, Meg. This was awesome. I know you helped a lot of people who are listening today and a lot of people in our industry, and I'm excited to have you back and see where you're at a couple months after this. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to email me, thehairhealerpodcast@yahoo.com. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I love you all. And I hope this finds you in a good mindset. Thank you and goodbye.